Hi everyone, and welcome to Real with Rayo, the podcast that celebrates self-development and learning. I am your host, Arayo, and I have conversations with people I admire and believe we can all learn from. Today, I'm going to be speaking to one of my very good friends and the CEO and founder of Raani Events. Raani Events is an exceptional event planning and consulting company that executes unique and exquisite experiences. Raani studied management studies as her undergrad and has planned some of the most beautiful and detailed events I have ever seen. You may have seen or heard the praise she got from Adiola Patron or the amazing testimonials on her website, but I can attest to the fact that she is truly one of one. Hi, Raani!
Hi, Ryan. Thank
I feel like I have so much energy.
Thank you so much for that.
What did you think of your intro?
I think that it's what I strive for Raani to be
Yeah.
and what I've been doing for the last 2.5 years. So it's kind of my goal for the business.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Cool. So, for people who don't know, Raani is actually my friend, like, in real life. Like, I know her pretty well. So, I asked a couple of her friends to describe her in 5 words because I think she has a very unique personality, and as this conversation evolves, you would get to see what I mean. Do you want to know what your friend said, or do you want to know what I said first?
What you said first.
Okay. Raani in 5 words, I say she is hardworking, consistent, loyal, funny, and creative. Person A said stunning, go-getter, loyal, playful/carefree, self-assured, hilarious. Person B said ambitious, creative, confident, funny, and strict. And I thought that was really interesting because person A said you were playful and carefree, and person B said you were strict. And because I know you, I can see both sides, so I can see where they're coming from. So do you feel like that was an accurate description of yourself?
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think the one that makes me the most happy is people think I'm funny. Because I think I'm funny. And a lot of people always tell me that I'm not funny.
I wouldn't tell you this every day, but...
So when I was seeing funny, I was like, okay.
No, your close friends were cracking me up. Like, you literally act like you're in a sitcom. And it's just like a story of your life. I love it. I love it.
But yeah, I think it depends on... I don't know who the people are. I'm not going to say the name, but you tell me after. But
yeah,
I think obviously I have different relationships with different friends. Mm-hmm. I have friends that I guess maybe I have a more serious relationship with and can come to me for more serious things. Mm-hmm. And I have maybe friends that, I don't know, we just laugh and play. So I think it just depends on, I guess, who you're asking.
Yeah, and the dynamics of your relationship.
Of our relationship, yeah.
So out of all the things that everyone said, what trait or characteristic do you think resonates with you the most?
I think I liked loyal/consistent because I think
that's mine.
Because I think that is who I try to be. I try to be like a person of my word. I try to be someone that if I say I'm going to do something, I meet up to that. I don't like to fall short of my word. And I like to show up for people. I just don't like letting people down or saying I'm going to do something and not doing it. So the fact that you and maybe 1 or 2 other people have
somebody else is loyal as well.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, no, I think you definitely are. And it's interesting because when I was writing up questions for this episode, I was thinking back of like our relationship and how long I've actually known you for. Mm-hmm. And I feel like there are traits that you've always had, but I've seen it more apparent within like the last 2 years. But that could also be down to, I don't know, us just being like actual women now and our personality has been solidified. Yeah. Whereas, you're getting to know yourself and all of that. So it's interesting that you say you like to be someone that is a woman of your word. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like that reflects in your business and how you've been able to scale Raani Events?
I definitely think I apply that trait or that characteristic to across everything that I do. If I tell a client, for example, if someone comes to me for an event in 2 weeks and I take it on, I never want to go back to that client and say, oh, we can't do this or we
Yeah.
can't do that, because I knew what I was getting myself
Yeah.
into. So I think literally in everything that I do, especially my business, I feel like someone is paying me for something and they've trusted me. Obviously, someone's coming to you for an event within a week or 2 weeks. They're already under pressure. And if I say, okay, I'm going to take this on, and I've taken that on, you've paid your deposit, you've become a client, like I definitely don't want to let you down. So I think that trait applies across board, especially with my business.
Yeah. Do you have any fond memories of entrepreneurship, and what made you want to start Raani events?
So I'm sure you know this story. I never thought, like, we finished uni. I finished uni in 2020, and I always thought that I was going to move to Dubai. That was my dream. I'm moving to Dubai. I'm going to do events in Dubai, etc., etc. And COVID, before I finished uni, like my last couple of months at uni, we were in lockdown. So when I submitted my dissertation in mid-May, I was sitting there like, how am I going to get to Dubai now? Because everything was just getting worse and worse. It wasn't even, because at first when it happened, I was like, okay, yeah, maybe in a month or two we'll be out of this, and it just kept getting worse. I was like, okay, let me just start this. Like, it was literally a very sporadic decision. In June or like mid-May, end of May, I was just, okay, let me start this, and I launched in July. So I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit and always knew that I wanted to start a business, but I didn't think I'll start it this early on. I thought my plan was to work for someone for maybe like 5 to 10 years and then leave with that knowledge and start my own, maybe back in Lagos or whatever. But you can plan, that doesn't mean that's the way it's going to go. So that was what made me start Raani. I think I decided in early June to start, and within the month I launched Raani, which was very, very strange because we were in the midst of lockdown. So no events were allowed. You weren't even allowed to leave your house. It was just very strange, but I just knew that I wanted to do that. It was obviously going to be hard to get a job coming out of uni as well. So I was just like, you know what, let me just start. Whatever I can get from this, I get from this. And whenever this COVID thing ends, we can keep it pushing. And then in terms of my fondest memories, I think it's my first proper event, which was a Diola Patron's event. Just having my friends, like I had Sakisa, I had my sister, I had one of my sister's friends, like, because this was in October 2020, so I just launched, like I didn't have a team, I didn't know where to get coordinators from or get staff from, so it was just me and my friends and my family coming together to help me, and it was fun. It was fun just setting up. It was like my first proper event, seeing how things worked. And also like other events I had within the first year of Raani, where my friends would come and help me. You even come to one of my events before. So yeah, it's just, it's fun for me.
So and you do it with so much ease and grace. What I admire the most as well, because you planned like my birthday dinner. Mine wasn't like a grand go on Raani events page. Those are events. Mine was just like a small dinner at the dining room in my apartment. But your attention to detail and also that level of professionalism that you maintain, but also not like super stressed, super aggy. You're just like easy going, I'll do this, I'll set up, and I'm like, okay.
I think it's just my nature. Like, I'm not someone that gets stressed. Like, I'll just go and sleep, honestly speaking. Like, it's just my personality. I'm not going to stress. Even when I was in uni, if a module is stressing me, I'm going to take a nap first. Like, I just try and learn how to balance it.
That's really profound. And how did you know event planning was the one? Because not many people might know, but I know you actually had a makeup business back when we were in sixth form. Was it sixth form? Okay, sixth form. It was called. Should I tell them? Glam by Raani. I think I was first a picture when Balaji did Raani did my makeup.
When did your makeup?
Gatton.
Oh, I just did it randomly.
Yeah, I think I just wanted to get my makeup done. Okay. You just did it. So yeah, why event planning out of all the business ideas that you might have chosen from?
I think, I don't know whether it's a personality thing or something that a lot of people can relate to, but I think when I have like an idea or like a will to do something and I can't do it immediately, it kind of dies. So I wanted to do makeup. Like I remember falling in love with makeup in 2014, which was like my last year of secondary school. And obviously I was doing IGCSE, and then you finish that and you're doing A-levels, which is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. You really don't have time to start doing makeup. Obviously, I was doing it on the side in sixth form. Anybody that would ask me, I would do it, sort of thing. But I think by the time I was done with uni and I was thinking about starting a business, the love for makeup had died. Like maybe in the last 3 years, I've worn makeup, or I've done my makeup myself less than 20 times.
Wow.
Like I just don't do my makeup. Like even this makeup.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Like, so I think for me, by the time I was old enough to start a business and do my own thing, I had fallen out of love with makeup. I like getting my face on. I like looking pretty, but me actually doing people's faces and people paying me for it just wasn't something I was interested in anymore. But I'd always had like this passion for events. It was something I always thought I would do later. I thought I would do makeup like when I was younger, and then later when I'm older I would do events.
Grow into events planning.
That's what I thought it would be. But like I said, COVID changed everything and just kind of changed.
Yeah. So I don't know if you've seen on social media, especially on Twitter, a lot of people have this idea of what entrepreneurs look like or what your habits should be. Things like waking up at 5 a.m. Things like waking up at 5 a.m., you know, showering with cold water, don't scroll on your phone. How are you saying that? Apparently, showering with cold water wakes up your brain and gets you active for the day. You know, go to the gym, make your breakfast. These are things that are traditionally associated with what like a typical entrepreneur looks like.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that? And like, how is your routine and lifestyle aligned with Raani events?
I think that who is the person that said that? I'm looking for the person that said that you have to wake up at 5 a.m. I have to take a cold shower. That's what I'm looking for because I think that is such a lie. I think and obviously there's some people, entrepreneurs who are not that early birds.
Yeah.
Wake up at that time, go to the gym, shower with cold water. And that's good for them. But I don't think is it because I tell her I don't want to work for someone that should shower.
Well, the whole idea is to, you know, start your day right, wake up, get here. You know, sometimes, especially on Twitter and Instagram, there is that level of, it can be toxic, but it can also be very motivational.
Yeah.
In the sense where it's like, just start your day, get on with it, don't go on your phone, you know.
I think people are different. I'm not an early bird.
Yeah.
I slept at 2:30 a.m. last night.
Yeah, you texted me.
So
like,
to tell me to wake up at 5 a.m., it just doesn't work. So when I'm up at night, I'm not just up at night doing nothing. I'm working. So like last night, I was like thinking about edits to do on the website. Like I haven't posted any pictures from 2022 on the website. All the pictures there are from 2021. So I was choosing which ones to upload, putting them in a folder. So for someone to now tell me I should wake up at 5 a.m., it just doesn't work. So I think it really depends on your person and what works for you.
Yeah.
I wake up, I work a 9 to 5 as well. I'm not working at the moment, but typically I'm working a 9 to 5. I wake up at 8:45 a.m. except I'm going to work. And I don't eat until like 1 p.m. because I do intermittent fasting. So I think we all have our own lifestyles, and whatever works for you, do. Yes, you see people telling you things on Twitter. Pick what works for your lifestyle.
Yeah.
You can't. It's not everything you read. Do you mind if I go on Twitter and I'll see what I did before I was 30 to become a millionaire?
Yeah.
And then I can do that same thing, and it wouldn't work for me. So pick
Facts.
what works for your lifestyle. Pick what works for you. But I think that image of an entrepreneur being someone that is sweating and suffering and we don't have to. It's about working smart, it's not working hard. I don't know why people have to suffer. It's as if you have to suffer to make it. And honestly, I don't believe in that. I think work smart, find out what works for your body. What works for your body and my body are not the same thing.
Yeah.
You might be an early bird. You can be productive at 5 a.m. I can't be productive at 5 a.m. I just know. So I think it's best for everyone, especially if you're trying to run your own business or do your own thing, to know what works for you, because that's the only way you can do it best. Do you understand? You can't do Raani the way I would do Raani, and I can't do Real with Rayo the way you would do Real with Rayo, because we're different. Do you understand? So I think, there's so much information out there. No one is saying, oh, you know everything and you should not be teachable, but pick what works for you and apply that to your life, to your business, to your lifestyle. Yeah,
and that's one of the reasons why I chose you for this episode. And one of the things I love about you is that you've always been like this. You really dance to the beat of your own drum. Like, the world can be like, guys, let's go here. This is the way to go. Raani is not moving. Like, she is not budging. Like, I'm not even joking. And people that know you, I think, can agree. Like, you really, really are an independent thinker and you do things your own way. And I think it's important that people know that with entrepreneurship, you have to tailor it to your needs and your personality as well to maximize your productivity. Because there is a lot of talk about entrepreneurship now, especially among Gen Zs. Nobody really wants a 9 to 5 anymore. Everyone is sort of striving to make their own living and capitalize of their skills and their personality strengths. And while that is a beautiful thing, I also think that it's not for everyone. And I want to uncover this more as the conversation goes on with the business side of it as well, because you have a full-blown business. And I know you mentioned earlier on about a 9 to 5. So I remember times when you would literally like be doing a 9 to 5, close that laptop and open up your personal laptop to start managing Raani events. How do you do that? Because let me tell you something, I am tired. No, I'm not even joking. There are times when I'm so drained once I close my laptop that I don't even want to have a conversation with anyone, let alone start using mental strength to start working on something else. So how do you manage it?
Honestly, I can't. I think you just have to love what you're doing. I know we always hear this outside. You have to do what you love what you do. But if I didn't like it, I'm not doing it. Do you understand? No matter what you paid me, whatever the case may be, if I didn't like the job, I'm not going to open my laptop at 11 p.m. or 2 a.m. last night to be doing things for the business. So I think, I just think honestly, I don't know what else to tell you, but for the fact that I like what I'm doing, I like event planning. It doesn't even feel like work to me. I will be tired, my eyes will be hurting, but like I'm enjoying what I'm doing. So I just keep doing it until obviously I cannot do it anymore. So I think in terms of balance, I also kind of plan my evenings and make sure that obviously after working in 9 to 5, maybe I dedicate 3-4 hours to Raani. Sometimes it might just be 1 hour depending on what the workload is. But honestly, just to answer the question, I'll say it's passion. That's the only thing that keeps me going. Like, I can't imagine working for if I worked in a supermarket, or I had a side hustle in a supermarket or like in a restaurant, I'm not going. Do you understand?
You see what I mean?
After working 9 to 5, 9 to 5:30, 9 to 6, I'm gonna start going. Do you understand? When I don't really care for what that's. Right. Do you understand? It has to be what I love, and that's what makes it doable.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Also, I feel like with just managing two completely different entities, it's really about consistency as well, because you are contractually obligated to fulfill your 9 to 5. Like, that is actually like your thing. But then with Raani events, you've scaled this business to the point where it is an entity in itself as well, and you have to show up. So how do you show up?
Okay, so I launched Raani in July 2020, and I didn't start my first 9 to 5 until October 2021.
Yeah.
So I remember that year and 3 months or so. Yeah, that year and like 3 months of not having a 9 to 5. I was just taking on. There was a month where I had like 8 events. I remember May 2021. Every weekend I was booked, and then every other there was a day during the week I was booked. But when I started my 9 to 5 and I saw, okay, the time when I used to do this and that is occupied by this job, I knew that I couldn't take on as much as I used to. So the first thing I did was I only take 2, maybe 3 events a month. My preference is actually 2. And then maybe if someone comes to me with like a really nice idea, or like, they're stressed or whatever, and I really want to help, I might take 1 more. But my cap is 2, because I can't do more than 2 a month. And even at that, imagine 2 a month, that's 24 events a year. That's 24 people maybe texting you at the same time, maybe 12 at a time or 6 at a time or whatever. So it doesn't, even if it's 2 a month, doesn't mean I'm only working on 2 projects at once. Someone could have booked me for an event in September, in January, and I'm still managing them.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So I think the first thing I would say to do is to know your capacity and work within that capacity. I think when you want to make a difference, or when what you're after is not the money, you're not trying to take every single client. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I'm trying to curate events for people and make people happy, or whatever the case may be. And if I know that I don't have the capacity to, if I take on 5 clients, I'm going to let 2 people down. If I say I'm going to give you a schedule on this day, I'm not going to fulfill it. There's no point. Because what you hear around is, oh, Raani events is not, do you understand? So I think the most important thing is knowing your capacity, especially if you're juggling 2 jobs or 2, I don't know, your workload is a lot, If you're juggling 2 things at the same time, I think, know your capacity, stick to that capacity, and you actually have to be strict with yourself, because someone will come to you and they will have the exact budget that you want or whatever you want, and if you know you can't do, you can't, well, I can't take it, do you understand? Because I don't want to let anyone down. So I'll say, the main thing is just, I've cut my quotes according to my size. I don't take on more than I can handle, and I stick to that. That's kind of like my policy, 2, maximum 3 a month. And I also really gauge the demands of the other businesses to let me know whether I can, or rather the other clients to let me know if I can take one more, like the 3rd one. But that's basically like my rule. I take 2 events a month maximum.
That's really interesting. I actually didn't know that you did that. So what is the filtering process like for you? Say, I don't know, on your website, you have like an inquiry form, and then I'm sure business is boring. Multiple people send a form, and they're like, oh, I want to plan my birthday party, and different ideas, different budgets, different audience size or guest size. How do you pick which one you want to do?
Honestly, it's on a first come, first served basis. If somebody inquired for September 12th today and paid their deposit, if someone else comes in June for September 12th, it's gone. Do you understand? There's only one more slot, and September 12th is not the slot. Do you understand? So it really is whoever comes first. And I also obviously like planning. I'm a planner. I'm a very organized person, so I like doing things in time. Not saying I can't do like events within 2 weeks or whatever the case may be, but it's really there's no filtering process per se, but it's really first come, first serve. I know obviously some people, it might be better financially to take on bigger budgets, but I don't really wait for a big budget. If your budget is reasonable, we can work with it, and you inquire first. If someone else comes for that same day, unfortunately, like, I'm booked.
It's gone, What did you find out about the industry when you started Raani events, and what surprised you?
I think something that shocked me, not even surprise. Surprise is like, ooh, like a good thing.
Is cute.
Yeah. It's expensive.
Okay, can I just say this? I remember when I told Raani that I wanted her to plan my birthday dinner, right? I think I had about 14 people. And I honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I did not even know how expensive things were. Because you just think, you go, most of the time, I've never really done like anything curated like that as an adult. As a child, it's like your parents do everything and they plan it, and I don't know, you're not really involved in the process. And also with birthday dinners, it's pretty easy, like you just come, pay, good. I did not know how much balloons were for. Please tell them how much balloons are. Flowers, I love flowers. I did not know how expensive florists were, even down to what are those things called, like the
table linen.
Not even that,
the
but
crockery.
No, I didn't have it at mine, but you have it at some of your events.
Backdrops.
Yes, the backdrops. Please tell them how expensive it is.
Honestly, I think now I'm kind of used to it. Obviously, when you were doing it for a while, I remember at first, like, getting my first quote from a vendor, and I was like, like, what? Balloons, you can spend. I've had a client spend like 1,200 on balloons.
Wow.
And I'm not talking about like balloons was filling the whole room. It was for a backdrop and a bit for the ceiling. And I just think, like, I think till today, it shocks me. Like, things are really expensive, but I understand. I can't even lie. I understand the pricing. Like, one of my favorite balloon artists that I work with, there was a time that we were running short on time, and I was trying to help her, and the tying of the balloons, my fingers. Like, it's actually a lot of work thinking about them actually blowing it up individually. The labor of it, blowing it up. And I think people think you're buying balloons from maybe like Amazon or something for $6.99. There's actually, I've heard something, my vendors talk about balloon shortage. Like, they have a specific, like, country they buy balloons from, like the quality of it, like, it's actually serious. So I remember that shocking me, like, just how expensive everything is. Like, I'm even thinking, Raani's turning 3 in July, and I'm thinking of having an event, and every time I think about it, I'm like, is this the money I've been charging people? Because bruh, where am I supposed to bring this money out of?
Yeah.
So it's actually quite pricey. But I think in terms of surprise, I think people are really lovely. Like, obviously there might be one or two, and I think that's in anything, there might be one or two bad eggs, but like the vendors I work with are really lovely, really understanding. Like, I've not really had like a problem with the vendor. They're all just really lovely.
What about client?
Most clients are, I think everyone means well. I think it's the stress of wanting your event to be perfect, maybe, or like if they're short on time or whatever the case may be. But I think I've been lucky. Like, I have clients that I'm friends with.
Yeah.
Like, I'm actually friends with. I go and visit them. Like, we go for lunch, that sort of thing. So I think I've been blessed. And I think I know I said there was no filtering process, but I really gauge when I have the initial consultation call. I gauge the vibe. And it's not something I do often, but if something strikes at me as like, this person is a bit,
like what? Give me an
let
example.
me not even say problematic, but maybe just a bit aggy at everything. So, for example, I'm explaining something and they might cut me short, and it's not something that they do and they say, "Oh, I'm sorry, just to call you." Like, it's like, I don't know, as if the respect isn't there.
Right.
So I think it's something that I do subconsciously. I don't know I'm doing, but I know that I do at the same time. I'm just like, oh, this person seems a bit, and that's just because I don't want to ever give us a scenario where we clash. Do you understand? So it's not something that I do like purposely, but I know it's something I do subconsciously. But I think I've truly been blessed. Like, I've had good clients, good vendors, good experiences. Super.
Yeah. You planned Adiola Patron's birthday dinner. Oh, look how she's lighting up.
Are you okay?
No, as soon as I said that, you actually smiled. And I feel like you don't necessarily sing your praises loud enough. Because, honestly, everyone that I know that has worked with you, and even I remember I watched Adiola's vlog when she had her birthday dinner. She said it as well, that it was an exceptional event, exceptional service. So what was that process like for you? Because you actually reached out to her, right? And were you nervous? Like, what were your thoughts?
I know I say it with my mouth. Oh my God, I'm such a shy person, but I'm not. So I think reaching out to her, like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of things don't really faze me. So even if she's Adiola Patron and like she's lovely and I've been watching her for years, for me, I was just reaching out to somebody else. Do you understand? I was reaching out to another human being that would either ignore my email or get back to me. I think at that point, like, I was really excited about the business I had just launched. I was excited about it. I was posting the logo. Everyone was reposting. Everyone was gassing me. So I was like, I have to do something now.
Yeah.
Do you know? So I was like, I have to do something now. So I was like, okay. And I watch her. Like, I watch her vlog. So I was watching her vlog one day, and she was just like, oh, it's her birthday coming up, but she doesn't know what she wants to do, but she wants to do something. And I just felt like, just, her. Do you know? So like, last, she was saying no. Or last, she would not reply. But it's not as if I'm walking up to her in person and she walked past me on chairs and like last I won't get a response. And I remember like almost within the hour she was like, oh yes, let's do it. And I was like, wow. And one thing I really, really, really liked about Adiola is even if I reached out to her, she didn't expect it to be on like a collab basis. She didn't expect to not pay for anything. Like, she was happy to pay. I don't even think she knew. I gave her my service free of charge. I don't even think she knew until I sent her the invoice that I didn't charge for my service. So I think, honestly, one of my favorite experiences, because it was my first proper event. It was an amazing event. Like, it was my first experience at anything, or at seeing like a balloon garland being done and setting up a table. And I look back and it's so beautiful, but I see so many things that I wouldn't do today.
Oh wow! Like what?
Maybe like the tablecloth was so thin. Like, at the quality I wouldn't use that. I would rather not do the event than use that tablecloth today. But it was my first event, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know anything. Like, even the flowers, like, I think they were a bit too blurred. I wanted them a lot more like simple. The candles we use like thick candles. I would use like dinner candles now. Do you know what I mean? So but no, I'm actually very grateful for that experience, because even till today, I feel like a high percentage of people that reach out to me now. Obviously, I've been doing it for a while, so some of it is word of mouth. Oh, you did my friend's birthday, you did this person's birthday, I went for this event that you planned. I remember like I did her birthday October 2020. I remember maybe like 95% of my clients in 2021 were from her.
Wow.
Like I always ask like, oh, how did you hear about Raani? You're like, oh, you did Adiola's birthday, and I was just like, what? And I remember her birthday in October 2021. I sent her a gift because I'm just like, all this money I'm making, all these events that I'm planning, all these people that I'm meeting is honestly because of her.
I don't want to cry.
Are you okay?
Well, no, that is beautiful though.
Yeah.
And I really want to touch on that because I feel like sometimes we don't know how much of a blessing we are to people until we see it unfold. The same way you actually decided just to, do it free of charge. It was experience and, just take a chance. You blessed her with your service, took some load off her, I'm sure, with events planning, because event planning is actually very stressful. You did it, and in return, her being an influencer has generated so much more income for you and so much more experience for you. So that's really beautiful on both of your parts, because she could have easily just said, I'm not going to say who planned my birthday, or acted like but
I didn't ask for it.
Exactly.
I was just like, if she likes it and she posts about it, she does, and if she doesn't, she doesn't. And I remember waking up the next day and just seeing maybe like 200 followers on there.
Wow.
So I clicked on it, I saw that she had shouted me, and I remember like I was working at that time, just like a job, just a random job. And I remember going to work and not using my phone all day, and then I think maybe when I told you she was my first client, so I think I had like 100 followers. I got like 900 that day.
Wow.
Like I got nearly $1,000. I remember going to work, coming out from work and seeing like 900 or 800 some followers. I was like, what is going on? I remember that day, maybe I got like 50 inquiries. I remember even my sister even said to me, you're being ungrateful. I was like, oh my God, can they stop filling my phone? Because I was so stressed. When you're trying to get back to somebody, by the time you get off the phone with one person, one petition, like, you have like 4 coming, and I'm like, like I was stressed. But no, I'm very grateful.
I love that. So that was obviously a successful story in terms of you putting yourself out there and taking a chance on yourself, and a successful outcome as well. Yeah. Have you ever been in a situation where you took a chance on yourself and it just didn't work out, or you were rejected?
Yeah.
How did you deal with that?
I think I said earlier, nothing really phases me. Like, obviously I'm not indestructible, but like, do you understand? Like, I just feel like everyone is human. Because that person didn't want to work with me, or decided to work with someone else, or just didn't want to work. You don't have to explain yourself. That's fine. Do you understand? I think maybe she was the first one I reached out to, but like she's not the only influencer I've reached out to. I've had some reach out to me. Like I planned Vikativu's book launch.
Oh, nice.
Event, and she reached out to me. I think she saw Adiola's reached out to me. I've had other influencers reach out to me, and it didn't work out because of the date or the budget or whatever the case may be. So I think you win some, you lose some. I've never really been the kind of person that gets fazed by rejections. Obviously, if you keep getting rejected 1 million times, you will. But do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, I still had normal people coming to spend their money with me or with my business. So if an influencer was saying no, it's okay, I'm not getting this exposure, but I'm still getting these people who are putting their trust in me. So I think, I don't know, I just feel like I'm not someone that rejection really bothers. I think I'm lucky in that way. Because I can easily just send an email, and sometimes I even, like, I was looking through my Raani folder on my laptop, and I saw one email I sent to one influencer, and I was like, hey, when did I send this email? Like, I don't remember that I sent it. You understand? I sent it, and I just kind of forgot about it. If they get back to me, they get back to me.
So I think being sort of detached from the outcome is something that you consciously practice, and I don't think
I know that
you're doing that, but that's really beautiful, because there's this book I read. It's called The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, and one of the laws in that book is the law of detachment. And this is actually something I have to consciously work on, because I'm so intense. I'm like, wait, what? Like, why did you say no? Like what's, like, do you know what? Like, I'm like, what? Like, why?
Like, why don't you want to work with me?
Right. But
obviously, there's some times where you see someone that maybe you've reached out to for work with someone that you follow or or whatever, and you're like, I don't know why. But for me, just like after that, I'll go and maybe eat or what something, and I've forgotten. Like you're right. Like I don't really, because it's not something I experience. I don't know that maybe the next person like you might be, quote unquote, maybe suffering from that, or
Yeah.
might be, battling with them that or whatever the case may be. But
yeah. So it comes quite naturally to
yeah.
you. Interesting.
I
So
think even growing up, sorry.
no, go on.
Like I remember being like secondary school, and maybe like I didn't pass the subject. Like I wasn't gonna cry. I don't think I've ever cried for like failing.
Wow.
Like it's just why am I so okay? I cried at one day. Do you understand? Like I remember like being in Grange, onto Grange, and they would give us a report card, and maybe I got like a bad DP, and then someone that got a better DP would be crying. And I'm looking at them like, like what is going on? Why are you crying? Do you understand? Like
yeah.
I tell you what is a subject that I know I don't like. I know maths, chemistry, and I know I'm not good at it. I know it's not my strength. I've just always, obviously at that age, I didn't understand why. But looking back now, like I know that this is something that it does not come naturally to me. Why am I crying? The ones I was good at things like literature, English, all these economics, and I would get good grades in that. So, do you understand? So I think, yeah, just focusing on your strengths, focusing on what's going well for you, and not only focusing on the bad. I think it's so easy to focus on maybe you get A's and everything, or you have 10 clients this month, and then you reach out to an influencer or 2 influencers and they don't get back to you. You forget those people that are spending the money, or those people that out of any event planner or decorator they chose you. No.
Yeah. So you also choose people who choose you as well.
Yeah.
And celebrate your strengths.
Yeah.
That's actually really, really beautiful. And I know you've done some events in Lagos and London. We're Nigerian, we go back to Lagos sometimes. How have you been able to successfully plan events in Lagos when you're not there? Or London, because you did one recently when you were in Lagos and you planned one in London, right? Yeah. How were you able to do that?
I think for Lagos, my first ever event in Lagos, I was around 4. And I used a particular decorator, I used a particular coordinator, and we understood ourselves. So when I got an inquiry to do one the next month, I knew I wasn't going to be around. I reached out to both of them, and I think the most important thing was the coordinator. And I was like, see, I'm not going to be around. Someone wants me to do this event. You need to be the me. Do you understand? You know the way I like things. It worked together before, and you need to be able to be me in this occasion. And for me, I was using a coordinator from a reputable event company. So I didn't just get a random person.
Okay.
Like maybe my sister or my cousin or someone to go and be me. Like someone that might not have the strength. I went to a coordinator from a professional, a proper, like a big wedding planning company in Nigeria. Do you understand? So I think I was already at ease. And then in terms of making sure that it went the way I would want it to go, I make like a very, very detailed itinerary of what should be done at this minute, and I check up like every hour. It might be annoying for them, but I'm calling like every hour. And I'm looking at the itinerary. Have they done this? Have they done that? How's this going? Getting updates, etc., etc. And I put that coordinator in contact with all the vendors that I'm working with. It's not as if they're trying to reach me. I'm like, Jonathan, she's the me, and she's the only person that's supposed to be contacting me on the day. Everybody else should report to her. So I think the most important thing is finding people that you can trust, and I think people that are also competent, because I can trust you, but that doesn't mean that you'll be able to do it successfully because it's not your field. Facts. So I think I make sure, and I think my name was very important to me, so I made sure that I was working with someone that was competent and was from somewhere with a good background, because she was working for her own company as well. So you want to leave a good mark for your company. So someone that actually cares about what they're doing and actually has something to lose as well.
I was going to say that.
That's the most important thing to me. But yeah, and I also made sure I kept working with the same coordinator. So every time we did an event, it just kept getting better because she knew the way I worked, I knew the way they worked, and yeah.
You see how that loyalty kind of translates as well, in the sense that instead of you being like, okay, I've tried this, it wasn't perfect, let me just hop on something else, you've maintained that consistency. And I think that's actually how you build great relationships as well, because when someone knows that you trust them, it's almost like okay, I don't want to disappoint you as well. And I want, of course, there's something in it for me as well. I want to fulfill my name, but I also want to make sure that, sorry, I also want to make sure that I live up to my own, I live up to our own relationship.
Yeah. I think even with my vendors, if I stop, once I find a vendor, I use them until you give me a reason not to.
Oh, wow.
So, like, except obviously maybe you're not available or something, and I'll use the next person. But I remember, like, when I found my favorite balloon artist in London, I use her all the time, except she's not available. Maybe she's quite pricey, except maybe she's also outside of our budget. But even the other ones that I use, if she's not available, I've been maybe circling and using the same 3 or 4. There's so many, but I think when they know, I don't have to say, oh, can you tweak that? Can you? They know what I like. Even by the time they say, oh, are you happy with that? And I'm looking at what corner, they know what I'm looking at. Do you understand? So it speaks volume. It speaks like my type of quality, my type of finish. Do you understand? As opposed to you keep changing people and your consistency is not the same. Like if you look at maybe all the balloons on my page, maybe they're done by the same 3, 4 people. So they kind of look alike in a way. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Even my flow, like I've used only 2 florists since I started Raani. One that's more affordable and one that's pricier. Just so there's some sort of consistency. So people kind of know what they're getting.
Right.
And they know that what they see is what they get. Not that I go and experiment with this vendor and then the thing is looking wonky.
Yeah. What do you think makes a great entrepreneur in your experience?
I think passion is the most, whatever, because no one is asking you to do. You have to be passionate about what you're doing to be successful, whatever success is to you, to be successful at it. If you're not passionate about what you're doing, then you're not going to do it for very long. And I'm not saying that there's some people that you're passionate about something and you just have to close the business for whatever reason, but I think the first thing is you have to be passionate about it, or about whatever you've chosen to do. I think another thing is you have to be disciplined. Even if I say that, like I said earlier, oh my lord. Even if I say, like I said earlier, that you shouldn't listen to everything that you see out there, you do need some discipline to be able to, especially when you're doing like something, if that's like project management, I need to be disciplined to know, okay, this schedule that I've made said I need to do this on this day. I cannot procrastinate to that day because everything is kind of like time conscious. So I think you need to have some discipline. But I'll say those are kind of the main things that come to the top of my mind. You need to be passionate and you need to be disciplined. I wouldn't say hardworking, I can't even lie. I would say work smart. Like all the years of listening to podcasts and this all that I need to work hard and sweat and suffer. No, I'm not going to tell you that. I think work smart, find what works best for you. And I think that all ties down or like ties in with discipline.
Yeah. Passion, discipline, work smart.
Yeah.
Cute. Do you have any plans on pursuing Raani events full time?
I do, but in a couple of years. Yeah. I was doing it full time for a year and a bit, but I think I was getting to the point where like Raani was doing well, because I remember Raani was doing well.
No, let's wheel him back. Yeah.
Raani was doing well, but I couldn't really enjoy it because I was always thinking about the next client. I was always thinking about when the next person would inquire so I could make more money. And it was almost like I wasn't doing it because I enjoyed it, but I was doing it because I never wanted to not have food on my table. Obviously, I'm not trying to be dramatic and like, oh my God, I still live with my parents. You know, I'm not like, oh my God, like, I can't pay my rent or whatever. But you know what I mean? Like, I was always looking for the next thing. Do you understand? And I wasn't really enjoying it for what it was. I was, but I wasn't. Do you understand? There was always that thing at the back of my mind, just thinking, oh, when am I going to get the next client? When I have no event in September. Maybe I'm in June or I'm in May, and I'm thinking, there's only one client in September. Like I just felt like I was just playing catch up with myself. I wasn't enjoying it as the way I wanted to, and I knew it was because when you're an entrepreneur, compared to when you know, okay, every month on the last day of the month I'm getting X amount in my bank account, standard. Do you understand? But when you think, September I only have one client. Okay, this is this amount. But this month I made this. You're wondering why am I just feel like you're overthinking a lot of things. Sorry, what was your question?
Would you ever pursue it full time?
Okay. I would, but I feel like when I've made, I feel like would you ever have made enough money? But I feel like when I'm at a point where like I'm more made as a person, like financially. Obviously, I'm young now. I just started this 3 years ago. I just finished uni 3 years ago. So I think this is the time to hustle.
Yeah.
It's time to make money everywhere you can make money.
Yeah.
But I think when I've made money, I've saved, I've invested, I have different sources and streams of income, then I can sit back and look, I enjoy this, it's making me X amount of money, why not? Yeah.
I love that you said that, because sometimes I feel like once you see a bit of success, it's easy to get very comfortable, and it's easy to be like, okay, like I'll spend this because I'll make this back, or like why you love it?
Because I used to be like that. I got Renee. Now Renee is showing me pepper.
Do you guys want to know who Renee is? Tell them about Renee.
Renee is my car.
A cute car. Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, I used to be like that. Like I'll just buy a pair of shoes for £1,000 for what? Do you understand? I just I'll make that at my next event. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But when you actually have bills, and like my dad also made me start paying bills, you kind of have to sit up and be like, okay, you don't just throw money away. Like the shoes that I'm buying for X amount of time, maybe I wear like twice a year.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
I also had that realization very recently as well, because I don't even want to get too much into it, but that adulting wake up call when you actually have real responsibilities, it's real. Like it's really real.
Yeah. And I think also this period when I left my old job in November and I'm starting my next job in March. So like this 4.5 months or 4 months of not working and having these expenses and only having Raani. So I think even sometimes as this personal shopper that I shop with, I always see her post things and I'm like, I can afford this, but does it really make sense? Before I just I can afford this, you just pay for anything. But now when this is my thing with entrepreneurship as well, which is why I also want 2 jobs, is let me be able to know I can afford something and not be relying on like just one stream of income. But yeah, genuinely I think I feel like my adult life has really just started. I feel that first year, maybe year and a half when you finish uni, you're still kind of floating, they're being nice to you, but it gets to a point where they're like, okay,
no, sit up.
Yeah.
And I had my sit up moment very recently as well. And I want to know, what would you never compromise on with Raani?
Quality.
I knew you were going to say that.
I think, like I said to you, like when we were talking about the tablecloth I used for Adiola's birthday, and I was like, I'd rather not do the event than use that tablecloth today. So I have some clients that maybe, before I've changed kind of like my form, the format of my form. Before you could write whatever budget you wanted, but now there's like a drop down menu and you choose, so we have a minimum spend. I remember before when people could write whatever, and I would tell them.
Sorry, I'm laughing because can you say some of the budget? The budgets that people have.
I'm suffered. That's all I can say. But yeah, people write budgets, and when we have the call, I'll still have a call with them, and I will kind of explain why this budget I'm saying is probably what's gonna work for what you want, and they'll be like, oh, I can get tablecloth on Amazon for $5.99, and at that point I know, okay, I'm probably not working with this client.
Yeah.
Because we're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
We're just not gonna get tablecloth on Amazon for $5.99. We're gonna get tablecloth from like proper table linen companies that you saw what we use for your birthday.
Yeah.
Thick, like rich, quality looking.
It makes it. It really does make a
makes
difference. It does.
You know, I'm sure if you go back to Adiola's birthday and you zoom in on the tablecloth, you see what I'm talking about. It wasn't even straight. Like the way I put the tablecloth on the table was not even straight. It was wonky. So I think for me, quality is what I wouldn't compromise on, because I remember even I did a surprise 25th birthday. This girl's mom asked me to do the birthday, and I remember at the end of the event we were just gisting before they left, and she was like, that she knows me. She's Nigerian. She was like, she knows me that even if it's one event I do in a year, I'm happy as long as it looks good. That she knows that I'm not going to, like, just from working with me planning the surprise, because we planned it for like a year and a bit, and she was just saying that so many times that she will suggest something and I'll be like, no, that doesn't look good, the quality doesn't match with that. She knows me that like I don't even care about posting. I don't even like. She knows that my quality, even if it's just one or two I do in a year, as long as the quality is good, that she knows that I'm good. That she knows that I won't just do anything for the money. And I think that's honestly the most important thing to me.
I love that. And what has been one of the goals that you've accomplished with the Raani events? I know one, but I don't want to say in case. I don't want to say in case you don't want them to know. But
okay, tell me.
Okay, I'll tell you. But what has been one goal that you worked towards and you achieved?
So I think, so I actually haven't chosen. What I've been doing for the last couple of years is I choose a goal for the year, and I kind of, that's my main priority for the year. And I remember in 2021, that was my first full year, I wanted to make X amount of money. Like I said, I started
that's
my
what
job.
I was thinking of.
I started my job in October 2021. So basically for the whole of 2020, that's all I was doing. So I was literally hustling. Like I was like, I wasn't sleeping. Or sometimes I'll have 2 events back to back on the 15th, on the 16th. I'll get home at 2 a.m. I'm up at 7 a.m. or like leaving the house at 7 a.m. But obviously I wanted to make money. I wanted to see how far I could push it. Obviously that's my only stream of income at that time as well. 2022, my goal was 100% customer satisfaction. So I just wanted everyone that decided to choose Raani and stick with Raani to be happy that they did. So even if some of my clients don't even know this, but sometimes like, let's say I undercharge for something, or we get a quote at a certain time, and when it's time for us to pay, it's gone up slightly. I might not even ask for the money, as long as it's like reasonable. If it's like hundreds of pounds, I will.
Yeah.
But like, just so people are not like, oh, this is my budget, like I'm not happy or whatever. That's what we agreed on at the time. Because a lot of people might not understand that like the vendors are external to me. They might tell us it's going to cost £200 for this thing today, and maybe your event is in May, and by the time we're ready to pay in April, if that's the time we've decided to pay, it's now £240. I'm not going to gamble, I'm £140. Do you understand? So I think I just want everyone to be happy as long as it's not costing me too much. So yeah, sometimes you bend over backwards. So many times like I try not to do viewings during the weekday because I'm doing a 9 to 5. I don't necessarily live super close to Central. So maybe a viewing needs to be done, and I really don't do viewings during the weekday. But because obviously I know it needs to be done, like I'll go and do the viewing. So little things like that customers don't even know that I've done to make sure that they're satisfied with the service. I think that was my goal for 2022. But in terms of 2023, I haven't actually chosen a goal. Like I'm struggling with to choose something.
Just that good, eh?
I'm struggling to just like choose something and I say I want to focus on this. But I think all in all, the most important thing for me is that the business is doing well and everyone that's choosing the business is happy, and I am happy, honestly. Like nothing else really matters like that.
What motivates you?
I don't want to struggle in this life, honestly and truly speaking. Like, obviously, it would be nice if you have a man or whatever to help you here and there. But like, I never want to have to like ask for something. Yeah. I want to be able to want something and afford it or work towards it. Do you understand? I'm not saying everything I can afford now. Like if I want to buy a house, I can't just say I'm going to buy a house tomorrow. But do you understand? Like I want to be able to say, okay, I'm working hard for this thing. I want to be able to just afford. I don't want to struggle, honestly and truly speaking. I just want to live like a soft life. Honestly and truly speaking. Like when I'm hustling, I'm not hustling to parents or just I'm hustling because I just want to live my life.
Yeah. That's real. So, let's touch on money. Mm-hmm. I know with entrepreneurship, a lot of people might suffer to raise capital. Obviously, with the style of your business, it might be a little bit different in terms of buying like inventory. Or, I'm not really sure how everything works, but how did you raise capital for your business?
So I can't remember who I was speaking to, maybe like within the month, like within the last month, and I was saying that I don't have costs. Honestly and truly speaking, my only cost, maybe if I want to do like Instagram adverts or to pay for my website domain and the email at the @raani.com email, these are my costs. So if I want to pay for a photographer, let's say my client doesn't want to use my photographer, and this is what I mean by quality and consistency. I use like the same 1 to 2 photographers so my pictures look good and they flow. So those are my costs, like paying for my photographer, my website, paying for Excel on my laptop and stuff like that. Like I genuinely don't have I don't have business costs. Like I don't have a machine that I needed to buy or like, do you understand? So in terms of like raising capital, I'm probably not the best person to speak on it. Because I didn't need to. Honestly, like maybe the only thing I bought for my business was my laptop. Do you understand? Which I had a laptop I was using before, and then maybe like a year into Raani, I got my next one. But yeah, honestly, I think I don't know that I'll say I've been blessed, but I think this business that I'm in, except maybe I want to start hiring out like decorative pieces and stuff, which I don't want to do. But I think if you're going to an event planner and stylist, like you don't really have that many costs.
Yeah.
No, actually, event planner. If you're a stylist, you might do. But you're an event planner.
Was that intentional? Did you know that before you started the business?
I knew, but very, like, my subconscious knew. I didn't really think about it until after. I was like, like, my friend makes clothes, and I think about her, like, she has, like, a tailor shop, she has staff that she's paying, she has to buy material, and I'm like, oh, wow, I don't have any of this. Like, it's just me, myself, and I doing my thing. Yeah.
That's really interesting, because I think sometimes people think, like, you have to spend money to make money. But I also think that... You do. I know, I agree.
But it doesn't have to be crazy.
Excessive, yeah. It doesn't have to be excessive. And I also think it depends on the industry and the style of your business. Yeah. Because with what you do... Actually, for people that don't know, can you explain then how you would make your money? Because you're sitting here saying, I only get Excel on my laptop. And, I don't really have business costs. Obviously, I know, but explain, like, how you...
So I'm an event planner. So what I do is, I'm an event planner and stylist. And what I do is you basically come to me for your event and say you want me to plan your 25th, for example. And what I do is I would help you find your venue. I'll come up with like a concept for you in terms of decoration. So you might tell me your favorite color. I might come up with the backdrop style, seating style, flowers, whatever the case may be, entrance, fabrication. And then I source everything externally. So the venue, obviously, you're not doing it in my house. We're getting an external venue. The decoration, I will come up with the design because it's kind of like my style and my creativity, but I'm sourcing the people that are coming to install the decoration. The food, I'll help you source a caterer depending on whatever cuisine that you would like. The DJ, everything is sourced externally, so that's put on an invoice, and then I charge a service charge of your total spend. So if your total spend was £5,000, I will then apply a service charge on that £5,000. So that's how I make my money.
Very smart, must I say. Was that well thought out as well?
I think that's how event planning works. I mean, to my own knowledge, that's how event planning works. Obviously, I haven't spoken to that many planners. I know some people, like, they mark up certain things. Well, that's kind of like the same thing at the end of the day. I'm basically marking up each individual thing, but it's just collective. It's just collective. But if I was to do it individually, it would still add up to the same thing. So I think in terms of people that offer like a service, that's the way to do it. Like, there's no other way to make your money, because I'm not actually the one making the food. I'm not the one DJing. I'm not the one, it's not the venue. It's not in my home or like a space that I own. So that's kind of like the only way. Yeah. And I remember Googling when I first started Raani, or before I launched, how do event planners make money? I don't know what I was supposed to do. And then I remember seeing a couple of people saying that people charge from 10 to like 30% or even more. I remember watching this event planner's YouTube video, one Nigerian event planner. She was saying how she charges the percentage, and that's kind of what I was getting from the internet, so I just ran with it.
What are some long-term plans for some Raani events?
I remember saying this once, and I can't remember who the person was, and they were like, oh, that it sounds very lackadaisical, but I can't lie and tell you that I'm fussed on long-term plans. I feel like there's so much pressure as someone that's an entrepreneur to your 5-year plan, your this year plan, your that year plan. But at the end of the day, I'm doing what I love, and my 5-year or my long-term plan is continue to do what I love. Do you understand? Like, no one is saying that Raani is going to be where Raani is today in 5 years. No, obviously growth is going to come, but like, I don't have except for obviously maybe in 5 to 10 years doing it full time. And I want the business to grow. Like I want to maybe, have. I want a small team. I don't. I'm also like I'm a very introverted person. I honestly don't. I was speaking to one of my family friends once. I was talking about how we can grow the business to. I said, not my own business, so conglomerate this one. I said, whose business are you talking about? Because reality cannot be my business. I don't want that for my business. I want like a small knit business, a tiny knit business. Maybe there's like 5, 6 of us. Maybe like 2, 3 planners. Maybe one admin. Like just something very tiny where. It's not just only me.
That's so funny.
We can do
Sorry, I can actually imagine you looking at them like.
I was just so confused. I was looking at him like maybe there's another business I'm talking about there. But you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like I want it to go to the point where like there's maybe like 2, 3 of us, planners. So maybe we can do like 3 events at a time, or like we can take on more events because it's not just me. But I honestly don't have plans to grow Sarani to be this multinational. Honestly and truly speaking, maybe if anything, I'll have like a little branch in Lagos, which I kind of do, but not really.
Yeah.
But I really don't have, and I think that's fine. I think we need to stop. We need to normalize people just doing things because they love it. Do you understand? Like not everything has to be a competition. Has to be a hustle. Do you understand? Like let's just do what we're doing because we love it. Like let me get to where I'm going first. But I can tell you what I'm doing in 5 years because I don't know. But what I know I want to do is I still want to be doing Sarani and I still want to love it. Do you understand?
That's surreal.
Real with Ryan.
Real with. I'm gonna start saying that when my guests say things I like. I'm gonna be like, that's real. Because honestly, I love that you said that as well. And you touched on, maybe like running in Lagos temporarily. But have you thought about how that would work logistics wise? Because I know sometimes, I don't know because I've never planned an event to Lagos, people say that it can just be very chaotic, logistics might be quite slow. Like what would that be like for you?
I think the good thing about Lagos is if I wanted to have an event tomorrow, I'm telling you they can do it.
Wow. That's the Nigerian.
Yeah. In London, in England, there's a procedure. There's
a procedure. Yeah, there's structure. There's order.
If I want to turn this place upside down by tomorrow evening, I'm calling my decorators. I'm telling them these are and they will do it. It was my sister's birthday earlier this month, and she just wanted a backdrop, and I remember she kept bugging me, and she was just like, "Oh, my birthday's in 3 days."
I love watching you guys.
Yes, right. I was just like, "Do I look worried to you?"
Yeah.
Like I said, "Don't worry, she's gonna do it." Because my decorator hadn't sent an invoice, we hadn't paid. It was like 3 days, and she was just so worried, and I was just like, "You mean that? Okay, if I now mess up, the whole family will be upset at me. It's your 25th.
Yeah.
Me that is me on the line. I'm not stressed. Don't worry." I think we paid like 2 days before or maybe the day before, and they did it. Like, do you understand? So I think that's my favorite thing about Lagos. And I think to answer your question, logistics wise, I think it would really just be what I'm doing now, but have someone that's like for Sarani, so not a case where I'm getting you externally, because sometimes like I've had times where that particular coordinator or the two I was working with from that company, I would reach out to them that we're booked on this day, and they have like a huge wedding because like it's a big Nigerian event, wedding planning company. It's not like a small Sarani or whatever. And they're like, "Oh, we're booked on that day," and I'm here and I'm like, am I really gonna risk it and use somebody I've never worked with before, doesn't know me, hasn't met me, so I turn it down. So I want to get to a point where like maybe we have like a little small office or something. I have maybe like 1 or 2 staff. I have people that are always on ground, but it has to do with demand. I have to have that demand for my services in Lagos first before I start recruiting someone that I have to be paying monthly and dealing with all these logistics, transportation, labor costs, etc., etc. So I think we'll get there, but there's no pressure. I'm not the kind of person that gets pressure. I'm not the kind of person that say, "Oh my God, I want to do this in 2 years." I can say that, but if I don't do it in 2 years, I'm chilling, honestly. Because, I'm doing what I love, and for that reason, I will not stress myself. I have a 9 to 5, and for that reason, I can stress. Just as someone is paying me externally to do this and this and that, I have to meet their own demands, etc. But when I'm doing what I love, I never want to get to the point where in 5 years I'm miserable because I wasn't enjoying the process I was thinking about what to do next or whatever the case may be.
Are you a competitive person?
I just feel like, what is there to compete with?
Oh.
Like, honestly, I feel like, I know this is also said a lot, but what is mine will never miss me. Who people will consider as my main competitor, I've had people send me things from that person's page and ask me to do it.
Oh, wow.
So I look at it and I'm like, you follow this person, you like their stuff. This is something I've not done before, but you choose to come to me. So at that point, I'm thinking, do I really have competition, or is it in my mind? Because the people that will come to me will come to me.
Regardless.
Obviously, in the most basic terms of what competition is, I have competition because there are other people doing the exact same thing as me, and people compare us, and people say, okay, this person who can do it better, whatever they can, before they reach out. But I also feel like my people will always find me in everything. Do you understand? I'm never worried that, this person is doing more events than me, or this person... No, it's just not my thing.
Yeah.
Not even only with Raani, everything.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Like, it's just not my thing.
I really love that. What's something on your bucket list with Raani events that you really want to happen? Maybe like a client, or like, I don't know if there's anything.
There is. Molly May.
She actually loves Molly May. Oh my god, I don't know why I didn't think of that,
Like, dream client. Like, I love Molly. And this is someone I reached out to before, but do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like, and I look at it and I'm like, I just know one day it's going to happen.
Yeah, it will.
I mean, it can be in 10 years, it can be, I don't know how long it would take, but like, I just feel like Molly is like my girl. I feel like she's my friend.
Yeah.
Do you understand? I just like her. And like, like, I know she had her baby shower recently. I was like, I'd love to plan that, but I don't think I was around. Maybe I was, I can't remember, but not even saying that if I was around it would have happened. But yeah, I feel like in terms of a client, I think Molly. Obviously, I can say someone else, Justin Bieber or like Beyonce, but I feel like that's not far-fetched, but you know what I mean? That's like far-fetched. But I feel like Molly is like within reach, but not really.
Yeah. Are there any plans to venture out, maybe say outside events planning, or...
You're not serious. So something I actually want to do, I don't know when, but I want to do interior designing.
Yeah.
I've actually made like a Raani Interiors page on Instagram, just so that whenever I want to do, whether it's in 10 years, no one else has the handle. I was really thinking that this break from when I'm in between jobs right now, I would probably have done like a course or something, but quite frankly, I'm not really serious. So I didn't do that, but I really want to do interior designing. I want to like do like a diploma or something, gain some experience.
You actually want to like...
Yeah, I want to do it properly. One of my vendors, one of my florists is actually an interior designer at Harrods. So like, I feel like and we're actually quite good friends now, so I'm gonna probably shadow her or something during the weekends. But it's difficult because I do Raani during the weekend, so it's like, when will I really do that? Maybe I'll just take some time off. Obviously, interior, it's not something you can just learn in like a month.
Yeah.
It's like, I need to actually go to school for it. I can just put things together and just do it anyhow, but I actually want to do it properly.
Yeah.
But I feel like when I buy my first flat or home or whatever, that's when I would really...
No, yeah, and take it as a project.
Yeah, because I can now put that out and be like, I did this,
yeah.
And then things can come from it.
I love that. So one of the inspirations behind this podcast is a Japanese concept called Ikigai.
Okay.
It is a Venn diagram. It looks kind of similar to what is in my logo. The last person that was on my podcast actually noticed that it's in my logo. So in the circle, there are 4 parts, and each part represents what you love, what you do, what can you be paid for, and what you're good at. And the general idea is that if you fulfill all the different parts of this circle, you'll have a very fulfilling life. So, really quickly, I just want you to answer, what's something that Raani loves?
Just anything?
Yeah, it could be literally anything.
I love sleeping. I don't know whether that is... But aside from that, I love events.
Sleeping and events?
Yeah.
What can you be paid for?
Event planning.
Yes. What are you good at?
I think I'm an organizer. Like, I'm very organized. I'm very planned. I said I'm very planned. I like to be. Actually, I'm very organized. Like, I like being on time. So I guess it all comes down
Ties
to
together.
yeah.
What do you think the world needs?
In general,
Yeah.
I think we need to be content.
Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. That's real. That is real.
I think we need to be content because I feel like you can never have everything. I promise you that. I don't know him, whoever he is, but even the richest man in the world does not have. He might have all the money. If I doesn't have all the money in the world, does not have my own money. Like, he doesn't have the money in my bank account, so he doesn't actually have all the money in the world.
Yeah.
But you get what I'm trying to say, like, you can never have everything, and I feel like the ability to appreciate where you are when you're there is powerful.
Wow.
I just feel like, because there's so many, even now, like, I think back, I'm like, oh, I miss uni, I remember being there and, like, wanting to work and wanting to make money. I feel like you're always going to want more. Sorry, but I feel like if we learn how to be content and appreciate what we have when we have it, like, I just feel like it's just beautiful, because, like, life is stages, life is phases. You're never going to have everything. You're never going to understand everything. And I feel like the lack of contentment is also sowing seeds of, like, just toxic seeds, competitive seeds, seeds of depression, seeds of unhappiness, and you don't even know it, because you can have something today, something that you've always wanted, and then tomorrow you see someone has the next one up and you're not content anymore.
Yeah.
And then you're thinking about the next thing. No one is saying that you should be like a daisical or you shouldn't have ambition or drive, but you should be content. So I feel like if we're content, see, people will not be killing each other, people will not be hurting each other. You'll be happy in who you are with what you have, and you'll just be living your life. Do you understand?
Honestly, that is so real, because I was actually having a conversation with some of my best friends last week, and we were just kind of like talking about the stage in life that we're at. And it's like, you know, we've all graduated uni, we all have like our little passion projects that we're doing. And I was actually talking about Roll with Rayo and just some of my, I don't know, like, I guess fallbacks I've experienced on this journey. And Morayo actually was the one that told me, like, listen, sometimes it's so important to just be grateful. And we had a whole conversation about it, and it fits perfectly with what you said. And my mom has also always said, like, life is in stages, because she's seen me firsthand always. Like, I wanted to grow up quite fast, to be honest, because I'm an independent person, and I just felt like I was being restricted at home. Like, I just wanted to go out into the world and blossom, and now I find myself, like, yearning to just have a home cooked meal. I just want to be at home. I just want to be babied. I just want to have that unit.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting because we miss out on important aspects when we're literally always thinking about the next.
Yeah.
But this is beautiful. This is now. And it makes me remember the J. Cole song Love Yours. And it's one of my favorite J. Cole songs, because literally that song is so real. He's like, there's always going to be a crib bigger than what you have. There's always going to be another baddie. There's always going to be, but you'll never be happy, like, if you don't love yours.
Yeah.
Wow, I really love that. That's actually my last question. And that was such a beautiful way to end this. I always ask my guests at the end of the episode, like, what their ikigai is. And one of my favorite parts is hearing from their perspective what I think the world needs.
Yeah.
And I just love the answer that you gave, because it really resonates. So, thank you so much for coming on my podcast. This was amazing. Did you enjoy it?
I did. Thank you for having me. Thank you for speaking to me.
Did you enjoy it? Did I make you nervous?
Girl, bye.
Honestly, thank you guys so much for listening and watching. You can follow me on social media. Let me know what you thought about this conversation. I genuinely want to hear your thoughts and your feedback. Let me know what you like so I can do more of that. And also topic suggestions or guest suggestions. Yeah, I love you.
I think you should bring CEO Devinter films on sometime.
Yeah. Okay, we can make that happen.
Oh, we should have done a collab.
Ooh,
Like
could
a founder CEO collab.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. At some point, we'll definitely make it happen. And as we all grow and evolve as well, we'll definitely be back on this couch. I love you all. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. And I will see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Wait, let's go hard.